Welcome back, guys. It is the Brothers Geek Out podcast, and thank you so much for joining in, guys. I've got a special guest on today. I've got Zackstar on. We've been following each other on the socials for a while, and I was like, you know what? We need to have a conversation. I've been watching his reviews, and yeah, like we've been interacting on and off for the past year or so, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Zach, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Right. Yeah, so my name's Zach. Um, and I really got into this as a way to communicate with people in terms of my sort of things I like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so I like the whole sort of book stuff, anime and that. And I'm not much of a people person, so I thought create a TikTok account and just sort of find a way to interact with other people online.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just started out of just looking at sort of people doing anime edits. I didn't come across a few TikTokers who did reviews for movies, TV shows, stuff with Marvel and DC. And I think that's when the whole um community really caught my attention. And then from that, I slowly went into reviewing Disney Plus shows like like the Moon Knights and the
Mm.
Miss Marvels. And yeah, I sort of grew confidence in that, and now I started to push that barrier a bit more. So I'm doing other sort of TV shows, other sort of movies, and yeah. I didn't know. I've been on it for just over a year now, and I'm sort of liking it at the moment. I want to
Good.
push even more. It start maybe sort of build up a YouTube channel or something, and just see where we can go from that.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear, man. It's great to hear like how the community has kind of really put this all together because I joined
Yeah.
TikTok probably 2 years ago and I
Okay.
didn't I didn't realize like how much of the community kind of back each other up, support each other. I
Yeah.
mean, it
Yeah.
does get toxic sometimes, but
Oh,
I
of
try and
course. Of course.
I try and stay away from that. I just have a different view on things, I suppose. But yeah, I just love how it's brought out a lot of people out of their shells a little bit because I was that guy.
Exactly. Yeah. I think through sort of my early teens, I tried to sort of mask the fact that I was into these sort of things. Um, and quite recently, I've sort of come to the realization that you shouldn't be afraid of what you're into.
Hmm.
And just sort of embrace it. Like I know I'm 27 at the moment, so trying to do this, I feel like at such a late age, I feel like some people might think, why are you doing it at so late in your years? But why not? If this is
Exactly.
something you like and you're passionate about, I believe there's no age limit to it.
No, 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 dude. Look, man, I'm 41, 41 years old, dude. And we started the podcast when I was in my 30s. So there's no age to the how can I say pop culture brings this youth inside of
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
which keeps us young, bro. Like I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the love of pop culture and comic books, I don't know what would keep me young. It keeps me connected to my kids as well. Like it's like I'm not I'm not that I don't want to say it in a bad way. Some people just forget their passions and things that they love
of course.
and
Yeah,
and you age yourself, during that period because you lose that piece of youth in you. Like
yeah,
I saw it in my dad. Like, after he hit 60, I've been cutting his hair for like 25 years. And then I was like, Dad, your hair's going gray, man. And he was like, Yeah, I'm old. I'm over 60. And I was like, You've had like thick black hair the longest time ever since I've been cutting your hair. But he was like, I'm actually getting I'm old. I'm actually old now. But
Yeah.
he's still young at heart. I see him with the kids. I see him. We grew up on pop culture because of him. He doesn't like admitting it. We're coming from a strict Muslim background.
Mm.
He really doesn't want people to know that he's the movie guy. We got all those things from him. So bless him. But yeah, it's keeping that youth in you and pointing it out. I don't think age has anything to do with passion, bro, and things that you love. So it's great to see that you're putting yourself out there, man, because most of the listeners that listen on the podcast are people that are trying to find, like, kind of finding it hard to get out of their shell.
Yeah.
And hopefully, the podcast, when we do it, kind of inspires them, because you could do it in any format now. We've got so much platforms now to put yourself out there. You probably did this as well. Like, you did the first couple of videos and you were like, nah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
But then you
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
get a gist of it. And I suppose you make content that you're going to like. Because if you go back to watch your own videos, that means you love what you do, bro.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah. The other day I was sort of just scrolling through previous posts, and I can see within myself how much I've grew into this from sort of stuttering or like umming and ahhing. I mean, I know I still do that now, but
It's all right, bro.
it's
I
not
do
as it's
it.
not as frequent now. I've sort of been able to become stronger with obviously with what I do, a bit more confidence.
And that will happen. I mean, like, look, both me and my brother, we suffer dyslexia. But my brother, man, like, I've seen him grow on the podcast. It's amazing to see somebody's progress, because even though you're with somebody all the time, and since he moved about 10 years ago. Uh, here's a guy who doesn't like to be on camera. Here's a guy who doesn't like to speak about things. To the way he articulates himself now, I'm like, dude, allow all these words you're using that I don't understand, man. Like, he's come to that point in his lifestyle where he was like, you know what, this podcast has helped me get in front of people. I can do presentations. I don't stutter no more. Where I'm the guy who still goes through all of that, so it doesn't
Yeah,
really bother me. I think it gives a bit of character to yourself as well.
of course, yeah, yeah. It definitely does.
Yeah, definitely gives you characters. But what's your go-to anime though, dude?
Um, I've always loved Naruto
Yeah.
since as a kid, loved that. Uh I really like Demon Slayer at the moment.
Okay.
I've
All
not
right.
I've not finished the third season yet. I've got 2 episodes left, but I really love that. Then you got the likes of Dragon Ball Z.
Hmm.
I like Jujutsu Kaisen. Um I don't know where I stand with One Piece at the moment. I've recently started to watch that. I've heard a lot of sort of mixed reviews on it.
Hmm.
It people have said it's really good, but it's just really long to get into at the moment. And it's just sort of things like that. There are other enemies, but I can't think on the top of my head what.
That's all right, bro. That's okay. No, that's all right. I mean, like, I'm going old school because my anime was like, it is Dragon Ball Z, but then I go back to, I don't know if you remember manga, which was like Fist of the North Star,
Oh yeah,
Akira.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like my era of, I think it was like
yeah.
Dominion Tank
I did like
Police.
at that time. I think it was Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah, yeah, Ghost in the
yeah,
Shell as well.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's like those are stuff that I still watch now. I mean, I think my brother just recently got into Naruto and he's going for it. My youngest, he's a big fan. I mean, the youngest brother, he's about 30, but he loves Naruto, man. Like,
yeah.
he lives and breathes that, man. He's like, bro, he goes, it's just deep. It's deep. And when he tells me it's
It
like almost
is.
1,000 episodes, I'm like, what? So I've got like a massive catch up to do one day, and go through them all. But I mean, with you getting yourself out there now, like, when it comes to, I know we had a deep conversation and you sent a really nice message recently about our take on the Flash. Now,
Yes, yeah,
I mean, everybody has their own opinions and how they see things. I think the message that me and my brother was trying to relay was like the the, the view of the artist, I suppose. The
yeah,
view of the artist. So I mean, I know originally, I think even when I came out at the first screening, when I watched, because they told me it was an uncut version. Like, so, there's scenes
right.
missing, the graphics are not 100%, so you
Okay.
can't review it. So I was a bit gutted after, because I didn't understand the stylistic look that they were going for. But I saw an unfinished version and I was like, okay, I still enjoyed it. But when I did see the finished version, I was like, I swear, man's just lied to me and just they fixed up a little. I know what the scenes they fixed up
Yeah.
and the scenes that they added on there, which I didn't see, which I kind of like the uncut version. Because
Right. Yeah.
so the
I get what
uncut
you mean.
so the uncut version, if I let you know, there's certain scenes in the movie that they didn't have in that version, but they didn't have the George Clooney scene.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Yeah, so they left it uncut, like just cut it. It basically just says uh,
Oh, right. Okay.
he picks up the phone and then you see somebody's foot come out of the car
Yeah.
and it's like, who the F is that? And I was like, all right, that's a nice ending. But don't get me wrong, I still fanboyed when I saw George Clooney. I mean, yes, my
Yeah.
guy
It
still
was
gets the slack.
it was great. It was actually great. At one point when I watched it, I totally forgot that he played Batman.
Yeah.
I
No,
totally forgot because he did personally. I thought he did a good job, but when you're comparing him to sort of Christian Bale's, Ben Affleck's,
mm,
um, it's just not as memorable as them sort of characters and
no,
like
no.
the way they portrayed man and that. But yeah, no, it was nice to see, and I was totally confused when it came to that ending because that is the way I saw it. It wasn't his timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I heard you and your brother's takes on the end credit scene. And it just clicked into place. It totally made sense.
Yeah, you have to, because when I saw it, I was like, hold up. He said he saw other Batman, so he basically rectified his mistake to come back to his timeline. Because I didn't hear it the first time around. I actually saw it. Somebody put it on TikTok so I could listen to it again, and then I was like,
Okay.
oh, he basically went back in time again to rectify the mistake of putting the tomato on top can. Basically, his dad's back in prison again, and all the rest of it. So
Right, yeah, yeah,
the consequences of time travel and even the butterfly effect of changing even a little thing is still going to cause a
yeah.
ripple effect in the future. Uh, but yeah, no, absolutely. I'm a fanboy, dude. So it's hard because I just end up loving everything. That's the problem. Uh,
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think from listening to your review, it made me realize the one thing I feel like people sometimes forget is how much you enjoy it as a person.
mhm,
I know we sort of do this to critique movies and that, but
that's
I
right.
think sometimes we get a bit too carried away with ourselves. And like me personally, I forget, it's all right to enjoy these films.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think I don't know. It's something that people have forgotten to do now, and we do live in a spoiled society where we get all of this content, bro, and it's
Mm,
amazing. Like we're not just getting anime products, we're getting the Marvel, the DC, and all the other projects that we get. Like
yeah,
the amount of stuff that we get pumped out now. And when I was a kid and I was 20 years old, I was lucky enough to witness the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire and was like, oh my God, we're heading to a future
yeah,
where I'm gonna see shit like this. Like this is unreal and amazing. Like yeah, for me as an avid comic book reader and see it on the big screen, yes, stories are not going to be 100% perfect, but I've come to the
yeah,
cinema to get away from the reality that I already live in and just get a break for 2.5 hours for my mental stresses.
yeah, yeah.
Let
No,
me just get
and
transported. Yeah. And I think that's where people have actually literally forgot that. And like me and my brother, we always say it. We're not film critics, bro. They put us as journalists and press, but we're not.
yeah,
We're just fanboys that love movies. It's pop culture. My parents, they both worked full time. So what do? They left us with the VCR player, and you
mm,
know, here's us man's watching Rambo and Commando and Terminator at like 8, 9 years old, thinking, "Bro, this is nuts! Like this is fantasy and science fiction to a whole different level." I mean, I grew up to Western movies. My dad was a big fan of like spaghetti Western movies. So Clint Eastwood was just
oh,
on the
okay,
TV
yeah,
all the time. So like I love visuals, bro. So like from where we've gone from, early cinema to what we've come to now, it's an amazing journey, bro. It's like cinema has expanded. I mean, we're gonna jump on like Spider-Verse now.
yeah,
And like My favorite film of the last decade was Mad Max Fury Road.
Great film.
Yeah, so that film for me, the way it made me feel in the cinema, I think I went and watched it 6 times, and it still gave me the same buzz every time. And I'm like, how did George Miller, this guy's like 83 years old, make a film to make me feel like that? Because I felt we haven't had a movie like that since I think the first Terminator, where I felt on the edge of my seat. I'm like, man, they can't stop this thing. He's still coming. Like, it was such a good, it was a horror. I think Terminator, me and my wife think Terminator, the first one, is a horror movie. It's always kept you on edge.
Yeah.
So that's what Mad Max Fury Road did for me. But this decade was Spider-Verse, man. Like, I adored the first one, but this like the Empire Strikes Back of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse. Like
It is. Yeah.
I mean, what was your feeling when you came out of that screening when you watched that film?
Oh, honestly, I was so speechless. I remember when you get to the sort of the end scene where he thinks he's talking to his mum, and it's panning up to him being outside the window, and I just remember being on the edge of my seat because I felt like it was such an intense moment. And then when you find out when he says, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man," and she has no idea what he's talking about, and then it's just honestly it blew my mind of like what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was real or not, and then yeah, obviously the whole sort of sequence after that I just thought was absolutely amazing. I thought it
No,
was really
it's they're really smart, man. Like the way they did
yeah
that, like
yeah
if you have to watch it a couple of times and you notice more different things, like the color changed of that
Mm,
universe as well, and
yes
stuff like
yes
that. You're like, hold up, man. But it's deep, man. It's deep. And the thing is, I even though people see Miguel as a villain, I'm like, nah, man. That guy's just trying to rectify stuff that's
it,
gone
it
wrong. You know,
exactly yeah
uh,
yeah
people will find him in different ways, but I was like, nah, this guy is just trying to keep the peace. You know, but the
exactly
cat,
yeah
it was unreal, man. I mean, the animation itself, the soundtrack, you know, like the love and effort that goes into something like this, bro. Like, I remember the first one, I came out in tears. Like, you know, I think I can't remember. Yeah, I came out in tears. My brother was like, "Why are you tearing up for?" And I was like, "Bro, that was just beautiful because that's such a
it was
homage to the character."
yeah yeah
Daddy,
what's up
who are you talking to?
talking to a friend
What's her name?
hey go sit down
What's her name?
his name
Yeah,
Kibla.
Kibar
Kibba.
yeah
Mm, bless you.
Yeah, that's a lovely name.
what have I seen room
Yeah.
yeah sorry about
That's all right. That's okay. It's all
that
right. My daughter always runs in, so luckily she's at school at the moment, so she always comes in. I remember, like I was telling you last time, so I was doing, you know, when the Batman came out, I was lucky
yeah
enough to do like a roundtable with Matt Reeves, and basically, this is like half her bedroom, half my little studio space, but it was
oh,
in this
okay
corner of the room,
yeah
and the interview's going on, and there's other people on, and I'm looking behind me, and I'm thinking, this girl's bopped in with this little toy piano, and it's like slammed it in the middle of the room, right behind me, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm the guy who's going to ask the next question, and she's like, "Daddy, I need batteries," and I'm like, "Oh, you're killing me right now. I'm in the middle of a conversation with Matt Reeves here." Uh, Bless him, like really cool, really cool.
That's
You know,
great.
do your dad duties, and he
Yeah.
answered my question. You know, like so, like there are some people I'm like, I still can't believe I've got to with the if you put in the hard work and the persistence into it and be continuous on it, you'll be surprised of the outcome. And yes, sometimes it takes time, but I've learned now because we're coming from a society where we're on views, likes, you know, how many people sharing and the rest of
Hmm.
it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once you take that motion out of your head and just be consistent with the work you do, opportunities will come.
Yeah,
Opportunities
yeah,
will come.
yeah. You're definitely right. I think earlier this year I came across like a stumbling block where
Mm.
I was just working too much and trying to put out content was just hard, and I'm just going through the back of my mind, is this all worth it? And that but I've managed to sort of change some things around now, and now
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more dedicated than ever to try and put more quality stuff out, and just see where it takes me in the future.
It will, man. It will. You put the time in, and like I put this post out, and I was just being silly anyway. But like the past couple of weeks, and I work full time in marketing, and everybody's always watching my posts, and they're like, you're lucky you get all of these opportunities. You're lucky, 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 lucky. And it was like, I don't know. It triggered me.
Mm.
I was like, why would you say I'm lucky for? And I'm quite upfront with like, I suppose that comes with age and my tolerance level now. Like,
Yeah.
just be upfront and straight with me. Like, why do you think I'm lucky? And they don't know what to say. I know sometimes the main reason is like, how's this dude getting to do this cool stuff? The main thing is because I genuinely love what we do. We don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
Monitor, like trying to monitor your podcast and all the rest of it. I don't get paid for that, man. Come on, man. I'm still hustling and bustling to feed my kids, pay my mortgage, keep everybody happy in the house,
Yeah.
and enjoy the little things that I can do for myself. But it's hard work, man. You have to put the graft in,
Of
there are
course,
days like
yeah.
I've said, I need a break. Have your breaks. It's so important. Have your break. Take a month off social. Take a couple of weeks off. Like it's so important because that you come back refreshed and you'll have a better timing system to do things. But I was like, I wanted to actually get the real answer of the people to say, why do you think I'm lucky for?
Yeah.
Because luck's got nothing to do with this. It's hard work and persistence. And
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And
that's
I
what you need to
feel,
understand.
yeah, yeah. And it's a shame people like that don't understand. But it's we're in a society where you can have thousands and thousands of people congratulating you on where you got to. But you'll always focus on that small minority percentage of people saying, you're lucky to be getting this and that. And
Mm.
I guess I could sit here and say try and ignore it, but I guess it's something that's easier said than done.
Yeah, I suppose it's a weird process, man. Definitely a weird process. I feel like in my lifetime, I've had to always work twice as hard than other people to get to the opportunities and do the things I want to do. Because for some people it's easy, simple. And it's just the way the system is. I can't there's nothing for me to change it. I have to do twice as much to get the things that because we all deserve it.
Yeah,
We all deserve it. But if you put the work in, then the rewards are sweet, bro.
of
They're
course. Yeah,
absolutely sweet. The
yeah,
the
yeah,
rewards are sweet. I mean, to this day, like, if I look back at the past 5 years, and we only started sharing like socials for the podcast again 2 years ago. We only started putting the podcast on other streaming platforms 2 years ago. We only just stuck to YouTube. We never really pushed it out there.
yeah.
But I realized that to get noticed and for other people to see it, you've got to put it across all platforms.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah. That's what you got to do.
jump on the TikTok, jump on the Insta, drop, Twitter. I hate Twitter. I don't understand it, but I just post stuff up on there randomly. So
Yeah,
like, it's just putting it out there. I think people have the fear of still not understanding what they're capable of doing. And you could do amazing
yeah,
stuff, but we're at a place now where one post can go viral and it could get you noticed or something. Or
yes,
people see consistency in the work. I mean, Warner Brothers, praises to them. I always say I feel lucky with them, but I'm not. They see the hard work that I've put through, and they've seen how much of a fan I am of the comic book. So almost like an ambassador for DC Comics, which I'll cherish that for the rest of my life, man. Because yes, when the first comic book that was passed over to me from my uncle, my youngest uncle, was a Superman comic book. And ever since then, yes, I love Marvel and I love all of them, even anime comic books. I love them all.
yeah.
Just the creativity that goes into it. So yeah, it's amazing opportunities will come, and it's just putting the work into that, and it's not luck. So keep doing your work, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's great.
Honestly,
great feedback. Yeah.
keep at it, because like it is disheartening at times. And I'm happy to say, if I get 5 likes on a post, that's 5 people that have really connected to a piece of your work. That
Yeah.
could you
Yeah.
imagine meeting? I met Tyrell.
Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times now. Really great guy. But he put something in perspective for me when I saw him last at the Star Wars celebration, and we got to chill out properly. And absolutely awesome guy. Every time we see each other, it's always love. And I'm proud of the work that he's put into his work. But he was like, "Could you imagine me getting, anybody getting 100 likes on their post? Could you imagine seeing those 100 people in front of you now, asking you questions, jumping at you, and the rest of it? It'd be
Yeah.
claustrophobic, man. It'd be hard.
It
That's
would be.
hard work."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, he put it's a nice way of putting it. Like, if I get 5 likes on my thing, I'm happy, because that's 5 people I got to connect with. Because now we're in a state where we're constantly, it does affect mental health. Like, I never thought social media, a platform that's on the internet, can do that much damage to people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a
No, you're
crazy,
absolutely
crazy
right.
time. Like, that's nuts, bro. Like, it still jars me. I'm a mixture of both, because I'm a hybrid. I'm from the old school, but the new school as well. So
Yeah.
it's like I've had to adapt and realize what social media does. And like my brother, he always says it on the podcast: post and ghost, don't interact. If it's negativity, try and push away from it. You're gonna get hate. People are gonna hate. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Honestly, I think that's great advice.
yeah,
Actually, it is. And speaking on Tyrell quickly, he
yeah,
was the main reason why I started doing what I was doing.
yeah,
I remember he was one of the first posts I saw. I can't remember what show he was reviewing.
yeah.
I knew it was a Marvel show, and ever since that, I thought, yeah, this is great. I'll try and do stuff like that. And last year Comic Con, um, the one in October, I got to meet him, and
Nice.
I just said to him, thank you so much. I think I went through a bit of a fanboy moment. I was just really, I was just so nervous and that. But it was great to finally meet him. It was
Oh,
just
bless.
yeah,
No, cool guy, man. Props to him, man.
it
Hard
really
work
is. Yeah,
that he put in. And who wouldn't fanboy? I fanboyed as well. I was like, dude, man, your videos are amazing, and like the key details that he picks out, and it's like unique to anybody else's stuff. You know what I mean? And but he put is having like getting. Usually when I see him at screenings, it's a quick hello, goodbye.
yeah,
But Star Wars Celebration, we got to spend a good couple of hours and chilling and like understanding that his work routine and how it is. And he goes, it's not easy. People need to know that, because it affects everybody.
mm,
You know, it's
yeah.
hard work that goes into it, and everybody keeps thinking, I don't know, man. Everybody thinks it's easy. Everybody thinks it's easy, and it's
Yeah,
not.
of course. Yeah, it's not the amount of sort of hard work, time, dedication it goes into these sort of things. I think it might surprise some people.
No, it definitely does. Definitely does. Definitely does. Uh, what's your next movie you're looking to watch, bro?
Um, I think I can't really remember we can't remember the name of what it was called now.
I've got a few. I think it's Asteroid City.
Oh yeah. You got obviously you got Oppenheimer in the summer.
Yes, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
Um, Barbie, my missus wants to go see that.
It's all right,
So
dude. I'm gonna go watch it as well. It's all right.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
all gonna fan. It's gonna be an interest. I think this summer is gonna be really interesting, because
yes,
there's gonna be. I think this year with movies we've got we've got so much that is coming out. We've got different genres of movies coming out.
yeah,
Like, you know what movie surprised the hell out of me was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's Air.
yes, yeah,
Bro, like, I'm a sneakerhead, so I love my sneakers. So it was interesting to see, because they work well on the screen, bro. But I was like, oh my god, like, it's one of my favorite films this year. One of my favorite films this year. I don't know why. It's just, I suppose it's great screenplay.
it was really good.
Yeah, I just loved. I love the way that kind of panned out. I mean, Spider-Verse kind of I think overall as a movie stole the show this year. It's going to be hard to top that. Very hard to top that. I feel like because they worked a very long time on that movie and they really took their time. They delayed it. The visuals are stunning. Soundtrack. I mean, great script. Like
it was
great script. Like I don't know how I've been watching loads of interviews and from the directors, the writers, even the composer, and it's amazing like the amount of time that they put into something like this, where they're like, you know what, let's delay it a bit longer. Let's work on this a bit more. The art style is intense, bro. Like the villain of the week, Spot. Is it Spot? They're calling him Spot. Yeah. Like the concept of making such a small character, even in the comic books, of how villain of the week he was, to make that character such a big threat is unreal. Is nuts, because they've picked a character that not many people know of, and it's an amazing writing process to make this guy such a big threat, and then entwine it into the madness of the multiverse. I mean, that canon event scene, bro. I was like, this is nuts. Like, I can't believe they absolutely put all of those Easter eggs in there. Spoilers, if you guys haven't seen Spider-Verse, I don't know where you guys have been, but spoilers, we've been spoiling it anyway. But that canon event scene was just like a really nice way of putting, you know, how they represented the multiverse. And I know multiverse is a big story for everything at the moment now. Everybody's doing it. But yeah, unreal. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was great. And one thing I liked about the Spot as well was his animation style, especially when he sort of unlocked his full potential. When he got you saw how much darker he got. I thought it honestly, he looked really great.
Yeah, the art styles they picked in that are just amazing. As I said originally on my brother hasn't seen it, so G-man, you don't want to hear this podcast, bro. You got to wait. My brother comes back today, so I'm looking forward to seeing him today. So we'll probably catch it on the weekend or the week after. But they banned it in like the UEA, but like Dubai and Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. I mean, the law of the land, as we respect it. But yeah, I didn't see anything to be offensive about, though.
I believe it was, I think Gwen had something to do with a flag representing transgender. I don't know if it had something to do with that.
You're right. But that doesn't really influence anybody. It's just somebody that supports a cause.
No, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a bigger, larger conversation. I mean, I don't know. As law of the land, that's how me and my brother put it. Law of the land.
Yeah,
just got to respect that, and that's what they what they want to do. But
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, no, his art style was sick. So simple.
It was
so simple, like scribbles, and you made it look like a masterpiece. Like, it's such a tribute to the artists in the comic books, because the artist that worked on Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, recently put up a post, and I've been following his work for ages, because he's a mixed artist. He uses watercolors. He uses different traditional ways of doing artwork. And if you read the Spider-Gwen comics, they're like water paintings. And he was so happy on how they represented it with the scene with the dad, and when she goes to hug him, and then you see the blue water mark.
Yeah.
And I was like as an artist myself, like, what an amazing way to be tributed, to have that come up on the big screen like that in a movie that's, you know, massive at the moment. But all the art styles, they pay tribute to everybody that's worked on the Spider-Man universe. Like, what a trip, man. I always put myself in other people's shoes, because I'm like, I'd be giddy. I'd be like, man, that's absolutely amazing. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's just me, man. That's just me. I'm excited for other people, which I love.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from, especially with like you said, an artistic background. You can really appreciate sort of the time and effort it goes into these animation styles.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I mean, I remember when I first saw Fist of the North Star, and that's like the first ever violent like anime that I've ever seen, and I was like, these guys hand like when you watch Walt Disney cartoons and stuff, like it's all hand drawn, like the backgrounds are matte painted, like the amount of time and effort that goes into it. I mean, Fist of the North Star, the character Ken Shiro, he does this 100-hand punch. And I remember trying to replicate that when I used to draw it. And I'm like, how did these guys do this? Like, even when you watch anime now, it's like, I know it's a mixture of different programs now, but they still have to hand draw some of these characters. It's like Dragon Ball Z, bro. Like, that's intense. The amount of battling that they went through and the power surges they went through. And it's like, this is nuts, man. Like, it's amazing to see like the process of it. And I love watching those documentaries because it just gives you a deeper level of like what went into that. But yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. My other question for you was like jumping into this world of putting your thoughts out there. I mean, was it quite difficult at first to get it out there?
Yeah, it was because we live in sort of a world where not everyone's gonna agree with you.
Mm.
Everyone's gonna have different opinions, and and it's great everyone does. It'd be a boring world if everyone had the same opinion.
No, of course, of course.
But I feel like the way some people portray their opinions, I guess could play some sort of effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I guess it sort of played in my mind. Oh, what was if I gave my thoughts on this film and I'm just getting a lot of back from it. Yeah. I guess sometimes it will keep me a bit reserved, but I think sort of listening to other people's sort of opinions on this sort of topic, and they've been doing this way longer than I have. You sort of just pick up that for like you and your brother, for example, when he said, just ghost and ghost thing, just try and ignore it. I guess that's something I'm sort of trying to work on.
Yeah, just put. I think it's hard not to. We're human beings, so some things are gonna hurt. Like I remember some of the comments I was getting back then when Miss Marvel came out, and I didn't understand the hatred towards it.
Yeah.
But that comes with like systematical issues anyway, of people not accepting the fact that we're gonna get diversity on a different level now. And sometimes it could be forced and the woke regime and the rest of it. But for me, I was like, man, I was emotional because I was like, you know what? I got my nephew saying that he's got a superhero that looks like his mum on the screen. That changes the concept of everything because we grew up with characters that mainly was Caucasian, so which never ever bothered me. So I'm from an era where it didn't really bother me because if you can identify yourself with the character in the comic books or a movie, doesn't matter what culture or race they're coming from, there's a deeper connection there. Like I used to cosplay Doctor Strange back in the days. This is when the MCM Comic Con was like run from a hotel like conference room.
Oh, okay.
And like I'm talking about 15 years ago, ages ago. And I remember a couple of people always say, "Oh, Doctor Strange ain't South Indian," and it really put me off cosplay because I used to do Doctor Strange and Wolverine. Those are my characters back then, but it was always because I related to them in the comic books in some sort of way, their battles and what I was going through as a teenager as well. And those are characters that I wanted to represent. And I think people forgot that you could represent a character that you want to, you'll always find a deeper connection with them yourself. But there are always the systematical issues that people will bring along with that. But I mean, later on, I've broken out of that era now where I'm like, you know what? You that's fine. You can say what you want. It doesn't bother me no more. You'll have your times where it will because you're like, shit, man, I was only trying to put my point of view out there.
Yeah.
But I think you're if they can put toxic energy out there and you're trying to bring a positive vibe to it, you're 100% more than right to, man. So
yeah, you're totally right. And just speaking quickly on the whole Miss Marvel topic, it was it was nice to see, yeah, like you said, it was nice to have a Marvel character from an Asian background for people like me and you can
Yeah.
relate to, and I thought that was great.
No, it's good. Yeah. I mean, listen, the show's, you know what? I absolutely enjoyed the show. I've got nothing bad to say.
Yeah,
I saw it for what it is. And I think that's what people, as you said, going to the cinema have forgotten. That if you're going to watch something, you're just going to watch it because you've gone to get away for a bit. It's like Secret. Have you seen Secret Invasion?
yes, yeah, I have, yeah,
So that first episode was wicked, bro. Like
yeah,
I literally was like, hey, this is good. Like it reminds me, it's giving me Winter Soldier vibes.
exactly, yeah,
And that's like my favorite Marvel movie, hands down. Winter Soldier.
great,
That's
great,
probably going to cause me beef later on the podcast. People will be like, no, Endgame's not. Endgames is a great movie. Infinity War is a better movie. But Winter Soldier is like, I suppose the espionage and the spy, and I love that stuff. It was like a different concept to what Marvel were doing.
yes,
They go
yeah,
with a formula, don't they? And the Russo
mm.
brothers brought in something different. But getting back to the point, which was, where was we? Sorry, I always go off point.
We were saying about
Miss Marvel.
yeah,
Yeah, Miss Marvel. Like, I loved it for what it was. It brought culture to the MCU. Like,
yeah,
I did an interview with the Asian Bon Jovi band cover.
okay,
A couple of, I think it was like a couple of months after. Bless them, man. Them guys are amazing. Shout out to the Bon Jovi guys. You guys are absolute, the Desi Bon Jovi guys. I think four of them were on, and for me it was like they were like they were like really grateful to be on the podcast, and I was like, guys, for me, I'm speaking to somebody from the MCU. So like I'm overwhelmed right now. You guys are heroes to me because it's like you guys are part of that MCU story. Like for me, that's the biggest thing in the world. Like you've given me the opportunity to speak to you, and you're bringing your talents up onto to Miss Marvel, and they told me about the show and how much they worked on it. Like I was quite proud to see it. Marvel has taken that jump to put a Muslim family up on there as well.
yeah,
But just to see the cultural like things to go through, and the parts with the dad, bro. Like us being dads, I was like, man, getting me all emotional, man, because I'm gonna go
yeah,
through that later on in life.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
of
mean?
course,
She
yeah,
gonna she gonna go through my TikTok and podcast videos and be like, Dad, this is cringe.
yeah,
How
yeah,
you been doing this?
exactly,
This is cringe.
yeah,
But it's a legacy. Like I feel like for you, jumping on this journey right now is a legacy for your son. So
of course,
like
yeah,
God forbid anything, man. Like, I always say it, like, and I tell my wife as well, it's like, I don't know my time here. Like, so I'll do as much as I can, but everything I do now, and it's never, yes, we do things for money. We have to work. We have to pay bills and the rest of it. That's to sustain the reality we have here.
mm.
But for the mental part of it is like the legacy you leave behind for your kids, the memories you leave behind for your
Yeah,
kids. Like, I think that's the biggest reward and payment you can have, because they'll look back at that and said, you know what, Dad did this, Dad did that. They've got a library of videos to always remind them of you. So
of course, yeah,
I think the way me and my brother, I think eventually when we started the podcast to where it's got to now, and the listeners that listen now, is that leave your legacy, guys. Even if you find it cringe, listen, man, your kids, family members will always have something to look back at and laugh and remember you by it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think
definitely,
that important as a dad that we leave behind what we can. And then yes, the stresses of life and money and the rest of it, it plays a big part. I mean, I saw my mortgage go up this week, and it was like, what am I gonna do to make that extra little paper? Like,
yeah,
guys, yes, we get to do cool stuff, and you'll be able to do cool stuff soon, bro. But you realize it's not, you got to travel into London, you got to do this, you got to do, none of these costs are covered, guys. Like it's not free. These studios, they don't pay you. It's either you go or you don't go. You know what I mean? So it's down to you. But I've kind of seen it in a way where, you know what, I'll put that little extra bit of money into the stuff I love,
mm.
that the kids later on when they see it, hopefully I get some cool dad points in the process. But legacy, man, legacy. Think of it as your legacy because it's your work, it's your hard work you're putting into there. So you're always scheduling content and watching stuff so that you can review it after. But yeah, just keep at it, man. It's good, man. I've seen more stuff coming from your side. You've been doing a lot more.
Yeah,
What did
no,
you think of Secret
Secret
Invasion?
Invasion. Yeah, I thought it was a very strong first episode.
Hmm.
I thought it was great. I like when Marvel take the very grounded approach
Mm-hmm.
to their projects, and that's what I got from it. Like you said, you know, just gave me such a Winter Soldier vibe. Um, and yeah, I honestly I liked it. Obviously moments on there where it really shocked you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
but yeah, overall, yeah, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the two to drop.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
I've
It's
heard someone say episode two is really good.
okay. Well, it's
Um,
gonna get deeper. I mean,
yeah,
you know what? Do I just spoilers, man? I mean, so what happened in the end, like, really caught me off guard.
yeah,
And it's like, what's that? What is that gonna do to Nick Fury now? Because everybody's saying that he should just give up. He's done. You know, I don't even know why he came back to Earth. He should have stayed up on Saber. Like, they really. I'm kind of, like we with phase 4, we got grief, after the blip and
mm,
traumatic stress, PTSD. We got most of the characters that are going through, but we never
yeah,
knew what Nick Fury was actually going through,
exactly, yeah,
and that's really good that they hit that concept of like this guy was, disappeared for 5 years. He's come back and he's like, what the hell is going on in this world? And he still hasn't. What's the word? When you recalibrate your mind into
yeah,
doing something, he
yeah.
hasn't he hasn't been 100%.
No, it hasn't, and you can see that from
Mm,
when he arrived back on Earth, you can see, he wasn't the same as he was
yeah,
pre-blip.
no, that's right. That's right. All right, man. Cool, man. Listen, thank you for your time, dude. It's always nice to like catch up with the people that I do online. And it's always nice to hear about your passions as well and putting yourself out there because it's a big thing when you start doing that. So you should
Yeah,
be proud of what you're doing and keep at it, man. Just keep pushing.
yeah. No, I appreciate obviously being on here, and I just wanted to take this time quickly just to obviously thank you and your brother for what you do. Um, yeah. If I'm completely honest, I don't see many people from an Asian background doing these sort of things.
mm,
But to see you and your brother doing it has really been refreshing to see, and it's sort of given me that extra motivation to sort of keep at it.
oh man, bless you, man. Good on you, man. It's humbling and overwhelming to hear that. And that's all it is really. Like I was speaking to my brother the other day and it was like, we only want to connect with people. And if it's just the one person we can connect to and inspire, then this is our job done. That's our payment. You've just paid
Yeah,
us, bro. Thank you for that payment. Like that's the rewards that you get from it. And you're gonna hear it when opportunities start coming your way, when you start to put yourself out there a bit more, that you're gonna notice it because we were just two Asian brothers putting our perspective on pop culture. And it's something that Kevin Smith said the other day. So he wrote like when he wrote the story for Nick Cage being Superman,
yeah.
that, it was a failed movie that never happened. But that moment he was like, pop culture paid me back.
I remember him saying that. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like, that's what it is for us, getting these opportunities, speaking to people like you, and knowing that, listen, you don't have to hide about your passions, that you can put it out there, and you have no idea what the universe can bring back to you. I mean, whether you're religious, spiritual, atheist or whatever, the universe somehow pays you back, and it has, because me and my brother have been doing that, I said, what, 10 years plus. And I think when I met the Rock, that was full payment dues. Like,
yeah,
you guys worked hard. There you go. Here's your payment. Like, that couldn't be anything bigger than, you know, I've had some great opportunities come up, but it was like, shit, some of this stuff is hard work, man, and it's draining, and it's hard to be creative at times. And do I want to put my point across? So like,
Yeah.
I tell you one thing that I did, the podcast has helped me stop doing small reviews. And that's
Okay.
just because I thought I used to do weekly updates and go on TikTok and Instagram and do like quick 1 minute movie reviews. It depends what project it is, I'll jump on it. But I
Yeah.
realized that we're just doubling up on the work that we do on the podcast. So I'll just share the
Yeah.
clips from what I do in the podcast. So I've realized that I don't have to do things, and you don't have, like, I mean, it's just one of my opinions and advices. You don't have to get the content out straight away. You can
Yeah.
do it 2 weeks later if you want. It doesn't matter. Because people still watch it. If your community are watching your work, they'll be happy to see it later on. You've got leeway to do it. So I've learned that, because it was getting too much for me. I think last year I went to Singapore for my brother's wedding, and I told him, I was like, bro, I'm burnt out. Like, I'm doing all these reviews, uploading this and that, going to these events. I'm done, bro. I think it's time for me to stop this. Like, and with, you know, a 4-year-old, and you know, and finding out wifey was pregnant again, I was like, where am I gonna find this time, man? So I had a break. I took a month off socials. So I went to the wedding, enjoyed Singapore, family time, came back, and I was like, okay, restructure everything. I need to work smarter, not harder, because I know what it's like working full time. I know what it's like looking after a kid. I'm gonna have two now. So how do we battle this? But scheduling and content, I don't have to post it on the day. I can post it the following day, or
Yeah.
you know, I've noticed that I can do that now. If your community love your work and respect you, they'll respect the time as well. So keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's really good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just it's good to see other brothers out there doing it as well. And you're right, because it's not much we see Asians doing work like this. I've seen a lot more come up.
Yeah.
And I met this I can't remember. He's a big fan of Cobra Kai, who recently followed. I met him at, I think it was the Flash. I can't remember where it was, but he loves Karate Kid. He's South Asian, and I was like, man, this is wicked. Like, and he's got he's a young lad. I think he's like 21, but the enthusiasm came into me, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna tell you about Karate Kid, and you know how much it meant to me as a kid growing up. So it's amazing to see that Cobra Kai. It's amazing to see Cobra Kai become the next generation's sort of go-to thing to watch, because
Yeah.
you know, Karate Kid wasn't that big back in the days, but
It wasn't, no.
it's become like this cult classic now, which is amazing. But it's Cobra Kai has brought in new fans to the show, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
amazing to hear this guy, the way he spoke about it and the feelings it gave him, and he wished he saw the originals back in the days. And I was like, this is amazing, man. Like, and that's, if pop culture can inspire you in that way, then you know you're always gonna find joy in the stuff you love. So keep at it, bro. That's the main thing. Thank you for your message, bro. Honestly, it's overwhelming. My brother was over the moon, so he sends his love as well, man, because
I
it's always
appreciate it.
nice.
Thank you.
It's like one of those things where I think that's the reason why we ended up starting the podcast, was to inspire others, and doesn't matter if you in and ahhing and the rest of it. I'm and I in all my videos, bro. It's just what I do. I can't stop it. Even at my workplace, they try and tell me, you know, you want to go on some presentation thing? No, like, it's just me. It's me. It's where I'm from. I don't have a specific, I don't have, you know, we all suffer it, imposter syndrome. You go into work and you're thinking, you know, if I speak in a different way, will it help me elevate to where I will need to go to? To be honest, I stopped giving a shit about that a long time ago. I was like, I speak the way I speak. I grew up in North London. You know,
Yeah.
my friends have this slang. I use these words. I'm 41 years old. I still use all those silly words, but it's just part of my language and what I grew up with. And if
Yeah.
a client doesn't like that, I mean, I'll be straight up honest, like, find somebody else. But if you want results, I'll give you results. You know what I mean? So
Exactly that.
you just, I think that we've come to a point now where they've started to pick it up. But like my brother, he's the best. Like, He's lived abroad for 10 years now. I think 10 years plus. And he works for the Wall Street Journal. And one of his friends sent me a clip and goes, this guy he still sounds like he's from Tottenham. He's never lost his flow. He's never had to adjust to somebody else, because you're paying me for me. So I'm going to be me. And people will have to either respect that or not. And most people do. And I'm glad that we've come to a point where we're able to do that, because I've seen it, people trying to be people they're not meant to be. And people have forgotten how to be themselves. And imposter syndrome, that's a whole different level of mental health that brings into the equation when it comes to the real life work world that we're in. So the podcast has helped me break out of that.
That's
the
great.
podcast has helped me to articulate myself in a different way. But I wear my passion on my sleeves, man. People know when they see me, Kibbs is wearing a superhero t-shirt to work. You know what I mean? He's forever. That's him. That's they've got no issues with that, and I've got no issues with that. I'm not ashamed of it no more. I know how hard it must have been growing up, being bullied about liking stuff like that, and being outcasted. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
The X-Men had taught me not to feel like that, and that's a whole different conversation. But you keep at my main thing. My message to you is just keep doing the work. It's good to see somebody, as you said, like us, putting out the work out there and doing that stuff. So I can't wait to see more, dude. I can't wait to see more.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. And going back to when you were saying my next film, for some reason the name's gone out of my head, but it's that movie where Jennifer Lawrence is going to be in.
Oh, No Hard Feelings.
That was it.
Yeah. No Hard Feelings. I need to catch that as well. That looks jokes.
It does look good.
Jokes. Yeah. It looks jokes. What's that out already?
I
think I'm not sure if
that
that's
might be
out
already.
I'll have to double check that. That's that Asteroid City. Something else came out today, man. It's bugging me. What else come out, man? Films 2023. You know what? There's so much, man. I recently watched a movie on Amazon Prime called The Covenant.
Okay.
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie's movie. Oh, that was really good, man. That was intense.
Was it?
There's a handful of movies that keeps me like surprised the hell out of me. That surprised me. It's based on true events, so it keeps you on the edge of your seat on what people go through. Have you seen Rye Lane on Disney Plus? It's like a romantic comedy.
No, I haven't. No.
It's based in South London. That's one to watch. I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's a good like. It's weird. It's a rom-com, but it's really good, I suppose. Which area did you grow up in London?
East London.
East London. Okay, cool. So you must know Bare Bengali Brothers, man. Which part of East was that?
So Plaistow, Stratford area.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. I got loads of relatives down those sides. That's right. When did you move, man? It was
2018.
Was it a personal thing where you were like, I'm gonna move up north, or?
Yeah, sort of. I think I at the time I was with my partner for quite a while, and I think we come to the decision where, if we it was long distance relationship for a couple of years, and I think we just thought, if you want to sort of be serious about this,
let's do it. Yeah.
So,
good on you, man. Good on you. That's it's an amazing sacrifice when you're a London boy, man.
Massive sacrifice.
Massive sacrifice, but good on you, man. For relationship, for family, plays a big part, man. Like, I'm in the process of thinking, what do we do next?
Yeah, and she's been a massive support for what I do. I'm grateful for her for accepting me for who I am.
That's the best, bro. That's the best. That's that should fuel you even more, bro. When you have that Because if it wasn't for my wife, you know what? It's weird, man. Absolutely weird. You know, before I met my wife, if it wasn't she, you know what she did on my wedding day? She got me a DeLorean.
That
That
that's
was my
sick.
wedding car. Because originally I was going to go in my brother's. My brother had a 3 Series BMW, all
Yeah.
kitted out and the rest of it. And I said, like, I'm not going to spend no more money because these Asian weddings are expensive.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't need, I'm just going to roll up to the event, go in, eat some food anyway. So I'll just come in my brother's car. And she was like, nah,
Yeah.
get the DeLorean. And I was like, what? Excuse me?
That's great.
What? And she's supporting me from day one, man. So nothing but love for that woman. So like, it's really edged me on, pushes me. Like, I don't think I wouldn't have done half the stuff if I didn't meet her. Because it always, you need somebody like that. Because well, coming from a divorced marriage from before, when I got married when I was 29 or something like that, or 30, it didn't even last that long, but I didn't know where I was headed. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? I work in retail. I work for a photography company. I dabbled here in different businesses. I had a clothes company. I had a photography studio company. You know, I was like, I'm failing in everything. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I'm finding this hard. But that woman has inspired me on different levels, dude. Different levels, and given me 2 beautiful children. Like that love there, that there alone already takes you to another level. So it's amazing that you get that support, dude. So it's key. I think
It
people
is. It
forget
really
that
is.
people are in your lives for a reason, and it is key because I lost a friend 10 years ago in my 30s, and it was his birthday yesterday, and wifey knew I was a bit off. Losing a best friend is, or anybody, is like the hardest grief to process, and she knew that I still haven't processed it to this day, because I talk to my kids about my best friend. You know, I talk to him like he's still always here with me. So I found it hard to process, but she's coming from the background of work she does, the type of person she is, the support level that brings. I mean, when somebody says, get that DeLorean, that's going to be your wedding car. That's a keeper, man.
Yeah.
That's a keeper.
Definitely.
I was like,
Yeah.
what? I was like, that's a keeper. Everybody said it as well, man. DeLorean, what? That's a keeper, bro. And, you know,
That's amazing.
for me, mashallah, that's, you know, it's been an amazing 8-year journey we've been on so far. And if I didn't have that support, if you know, some people would say, why are you doing this for? You're not getting paid for it. But she knows how key passion is.
Yeah.
And people need to know that as well. That what you do and what you love is going to keep you young and keep you going for the next day. To, you know, some people say, why are you so excited for that movie to come out? It's going to be rubbish. But I'm like, you don't understand you know, Indiana Jones. I was getting it the other day. Indiana Jones. It's going to be poor. It's going to be rubbish. All the rest of it. But you don't know what that brings to me as a kid that grew up watching these films, and then getting to be at a screening. I never thought in my life I would be doing what I'm doing now, but it was because of the support of my other half saying, just go do the stuff you love, man.
Yeah. It must be a surreal feeling sometimes.
It is definitely. It's weird because I'm starting to reap the rewards of being a fan of films and having my own point of view on it, but being able to share that excitement with others and knowing that everybody else can get these opportunities because of that lucky thing that happened. And it's not, you know, if a studio wants you to be at a screen, and the studio will let you know. And the studios watch. If you're tagging them, and the rest of it, they do watch. They do. They'll be like, oh, I like this guy's point of view. Let's get him over here. He's honest. Or he's a fanboy. They're gonna get fanboys. How can they not get fanboys? I'm probably one of the thousands of people that hate Black Adam. It's a rock movie. It's Fast and Furious with superheroes.
Yeah.
What am I gonna expect from? I knew that from day dot.
Yeah.
You're not getting like Interstellar or Inception.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, one of those movies where it's gonna make you think it's a superhero movie, it's a comic book movie. You know, the guy's worked 10 years to get this out, man. Praise him for that. You know what I mean? He got the project out. Yes, it didn't do great in the box office, which is a shame. You know, DC have had this stigma. You know, they think even having Michael Keaton's Batman in there will bring people to the cinema. It's just the toxic fans just don't like the vision that it's gone with, and it's been messy. I can understand that, but
Yeah.
I just feel like supporting cinema, for me anyway, personally. Like, I'm a guy who, yes, could go to the screening, but I've still paid for it another 3 times after to watch it because I love cinema. I'll
Yeah.
go to the cinema. It's my getaway. So yeah, support, man. Support is key. That's amazing to hear that, and it's a big move, big sacrifice, man. You should be proud,
Yeah.
man. Bless you.
Yeah. No, I definitely am. I know I've made the right choice to do what I did. Even
That's
I
good.
was questioning it at first, but yeah, I've not really looked back since.
That's good. That's good. How many years has it been now?
Um, Coming up to 5 years now.
Good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you, man. No, that's key, man. That's key, man. That's so key. That's so good. That's so good. All right, listen. I know you got look after little man, and yes, I got to get back to work as well. But bro, honestly, Zach, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm sure we'll geek out. I think we should do like the next movie we watch, we jump on a discussion, bro. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. So even if it's Oppenheimer or Barbie, let's talk about it, man.
Yes. Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
it's the movie world, and it's grateful to have you on. Keep doing the hard work you do, man. Thanks for jumping on the show. Where can the people find you, dude? This is your time to shine now.
Right. So I'm mainly on TikTok. Um, I have I've got Twitter. It's the same at Zackstar.
Mhm.
And then I'm on Instagram as well, but that's Zackstar.95 because someone's already nicked it. Yeah, they're really my socials.
Yeah, cool. I'll put the links are in the description. Go follow this guy's journey. He got a great view on his films, and reviews on the shows and anime and everything. So make sure you go check him out. When you're down in London next, dude.
Um, if it's not to see family in the summer, I definitely want to try and make Comic Con
Mhm.
in October.
Cool.
And I think the day before Comic Con, they've got this Into the Spider-Verse orchestra thing.
Book your tickets, man. I'm going.
And yeah, I do need to jump on
Book your
that.
tickets. Book
Yeah,
your
yeah,
tickets, man.
yeah, definitely.
As soon as I found out, I booked 2 tickets, man. I was
I
like,
think
I'm gonna.
it's Thursday. I think it's on the
Yeah,
Thursday.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. So
right.
I'll probably just do like a really long weekend at
Yeah, why not, man? Do it,
that
man. If you
time.
do go to it, let me know. It'd be good to catch up in person. Oh my god, that's gonna be amazing. I love going to the orchestra. Sorry, the movies and watching it with a live orchestra. Like
Yeah,
it's an immersive, different feel. Like
I missed that on the Batman one. I was kicking myself about that because
that
that
was
sounded like
insane.
a massive experience.
It is. It is. It takes you out of the world of like you're living in that movie now. It's like I've seen what have I seen? I've seen Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I saw Back to the Future. I missed the Black Panther one. I did the Joker, and I did the Batman, and it's an immersive experience, watching a movie in that sort of way because
Yeah,
you're getting stuck into the film because the soundtrack's amazing anyway.
yeah,
Uh, Michael Giacchino absolutely smashed that. But it's not even that. You look at the scenes and when the Batmobile goes off the first time and the penguins looking, the
yeah,
soundtrack just
yeah.
goes intense and you're like, this is nuts. Amazing experience. Yeah, book your tickets, dude. I think they're like 35 quid or something like that.
Oh, cool. All right
Yeah,
then.
so it's not extortionate.
Yeah.
If you want to sit at the front, then yeah. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I got mortgage to pay, so got to keep finances down. But yeah, all good. No, listen, I get carried away on here, man, and it's always nice to have a good conversation. Uh, Grateful, thank you, and
Thank
hope
you
to
so
get you back
much.
on the show again as well. So, and we'll catch up, man.
Definitely. Thank you so much for this opportunity, by the way.
Ah, you're welcome, man. Like it's always nice to have fresh blood on the channel because we do these geek out sessions with everyday. I want everyday people to come on here and be inspired and know that we're all part of the same community. We're all part of the same stuff that we love, and I think it's nice to share that with the listeners and the people that watch the YouTube channels. I'm happy to have anybody come on and just share their passions, man. And we had a good conversation. So if we can
Yeah.
vibe off that,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.